Why would you, as a smart and ambitious entrepreneur, be struggling to grow your business? Now, yes, I am making an assumption right now that you're not happy and that you are wanting to grow your business even faster, simply because the headline that I wrote for this, whether you're watching me on YouTube or listening to me on the podcast, has gotten you to join me right now. So I'm going to stick with that assumption. But really, there are three key reasons why I see so many entrepreneurs, and this could be you because it certainly was me as well, struggling to grow their businesses, and why I'm so confident in making sure that I can either just highlight the actual problems, but then even very importantly, actually, how do we actually solve those three problems, is because one, upon me reflecting and self-assessing over nearly 20 years of running businesses, these were the same pitfalls that I was happening. These three, I was falling into them. And now having the upper hand of being behind the scenes and working with so many hundreds of online businesses, these are the exact same patterns, these are the exact same problems, and these are the fixes that we're being able to use. So let's get straight into what these three problems are and what the fixes are to them. And the first one is you do not have the cojones to question your beliefs. And there's two parts to this, and that is going to be number one, let's just look at the actual hard facts data. And that is, are you actually tracking the data, the numbers, the KPIs, whatever you really want to call it? Are you actually tracking what is needed for you to know to be able to make the right decisions moving forward? So much of the time, I see entrepreneurs, quite honestly, just digging their heads in the sand, not looking at what needs to be looked at to know what's happening. And this can be some really simple things. Let's even just look at a sales process right now and understanding, well, where are the leads coming in from? How many leads are coming through? How are leads getting turned into prospect? How many sales conversations are happening? What is the actual conversions that are happening in your sales process? What's the lifetime value? How quickly are you getting cash back upon sales? And what is it that you're doing to be able to increase your lifetime value or decrease churn, and so on and so forth? These key metrics when it comes to running, especially an online service or coaching business, is critical because this determines whether things are working, things are missing, things are broken, and what it is that you need to do to be able to fix those moving forward as well. Because then it goes into more of the softer problem, but still very, very important. And that is, how are you looking at how you're making your decisions? What are the beliefs and assumptions that you're making that are leading to your decision making as well? These can be some really simple questions, such as, why are you trying to get traffic through a certain channel? Why are you trying to run ads that way? Why is your marketing message the way that it is right now? Why are you trying to sell through that mechanism that you're using? Why is the price point that you're trying to sell at the price point that it actually is? Why are you actually delivering the product, the promise, the service, the experience that you currently are for the way that you're doing it? And to unpack this even further, there can be two parts to it. There is a product here into this, which is what is the end product that you want at the end of the day. There's what is the end outcome that you want to be able to have that. So product, but then there is the process, and then there's what is the process behind what is needed to get that outcome, to get that product that you want. And simply just from this, from having the cojones, and that's why I want to use this, from having the cojones to actually look at what is going on, to really be able to pierce through the veil to understand why you are having the current constraint that you're having. Because that's all this really comes down to. Do you know the constraint that is stopping or slowing your business from growing right now? And do you know what to do to fix it to then be able to move forward? As a consultant, as a coach, as someone that comes into businesses to help people to be able to grow faster and even have more fun with their businesses as well, it really comes down to me just being able to identify, here's the constraint you're having right now, here's the solution, and here's the set of steps in the right sequence to be able to solve those. And then having the cadence needed to be able to then go back to, how often do we need to find the current constraint? Because there is only one constraint that you should be working on right now. Don't think that you should be doing a plethora or a number of different things. That is only going to create complexity that is going to slow you down even further. Find that one constraint, solve it, and then continue on rinsing and repeating. The second key problem is typically coming from you are copying or mimicking someone else's model, and it is not the right fit for you right now. So the 4 parts to the different models that we kind of break a business down to is 1, what is the economic model of the business? 2, what is the acquisition model of the business? 3, what is the delivery model of the business? And then 4, what is the operations model? Okay, so the economic model, how are you actually trying to make money and to create profits in your business? What do the numbers really need to look like? 2, acquisition, how are you getting people that don't know to become a customer or client, to become a raving fan? Delivery, how are you actually being able to get the service, the product, the outcome for your customers and clients the way that is best needed for you operationally as a business, so that you do what you need to do with the least amount of operational drag, but it's actually the way that your client or customer wants it to happen. And then 4, operationally, your business, your organization, how is it actually running? Whether it's just you yourself, or whether you have a team to a very large team, it is the operations. How are you doing what you need to do? And is there going to be a streamlined ways for you to be able to know whether it's a systems problem or a people problem that could be causing issues along that as well? And again, it's very important. Have you, when you look at these 4 different models inside of what your business is, have you just blindly copying someone else? And when I say blindly, I don't mean you just like randomly chose it. I mean, do you really know the reason why you've got all of these models the way that they are right now? And if you don't, that's perfectly fine. That's why I want to share this episode with you, is so that you can actually sit down, look at, and be able to decide on what it is that you need to be able to do moving forward. Then there is the 3rd big problem that is happening. And at the end of the day, it really just comes down to you are not doing what it is that you need to be able to do to get the result that you want. And really, at the end, I call this foolishness. And foolishness to me is that you know what you need to be able to do, but you lack the strength of character to simply follow through and be able to do it. So when you break down the task and understanding, well, what is it that you want to be able to achieve? Do you know the process? So we know the product, what we want, the outcome, but do you know then the process of what it is that you need to be able to do? And are you simply doing that on an hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter basis to ensure that you're moving along and heading in the right direction? Because so much of the time, and this is a really easy trap for us to fall into. Please don't think that I'm saying that this, like if you're having this problem right now, that's silly of you, that's bad of you. No, none of that. I do this all the time, and I'm constantly being able to pull myself up. So I want you to be able to go through this process simply because this is one of the biggest mistakes that I made. And that was simply going down to the actual nitty-grittiness of on a day-by-day basis, like literally right now, should you be listening or watching to me right now? Should you be on YouTube? Should you be on a podcast? Or should you be doing something that could be some really minutia, detailed work that maybe you don't love to do, but your business needs you to do to be able to move forward? But if this is the case, when you look at all the things that you're doing right now inside of your business, it could be a case of, you know what, there's some things on that list, wait dude, I don't know how else to say it, but you're just gonna have to get it done. And maybe you put some nice gentle music on the background, maybe you jump up and down and fire yourself up. I don't care, whatever it is, but there are some things that you just need to be able to get done at the end of the day. But are you being effective and efficient as well? Because so much of the time, what this really comes down to is we're being busy. We're just doing a bunch of stuff, and at the end of the day, we're like, oh, that was a big day. I'm really puffed. And you know what? Good on me because I was busy for this day. But did you need to be busy? Because I think a lot of the time we don't. You just actually needed to be smarter about what it is that you are doing to be able to get the end result that you want as well. So when it comes down to it, it's an understanding of don't just be doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff. Understand that you really only need to be doing some key critical tasks to be able to make sure that everything's coming together, so that your economic model's put together, so that your acquisition model's put together, so that your delivery model's put together, and so that your operations model's put together. Because when you understand what needs to be happening in each of these 4 models, then you are able to really lean back. You're able to take a sigh of relief to know that you don't have to be busy the whole time, that your team doesn't have to be struggling every single day and just absolutely working their guts out. Things can be so much simpler and, dare I say it, so much more fun as well. So when we look at these 3 big problems and how I've broken them down for you in this episode, I want you to choose just one. Remember, I've said this in other episodes, and good chance I'm going to say it many more times as well, but there's only one constraint that you're really going to have in your business. So think of these 3 big problems, and which one do you think they're having? Which one, because I've unpacked each of these 3 for you, do you think is actually the core problem for what it is? Because if you can just choose that one, and from this episode, don't go on and start listening to more stuff. Sit down, write it down, just do something with it to take a forward positive next step to ensure that you are moving forward, and so that you are able to break down what the problem is and to be able to fix it from there. And that is what I want to be able to share with you, because for me, when I look at other people's businesses, this is the exact same process I go through. When I look at my businesses, this is the exact same process I go through, and it makes it a hell of a lot easier to be able to get things done and to be able to grow businesses so much faster without all of the headaches that so many people are falling into as well. And as always, I really appreciate your time and attention here. I want you to be able to tell me which is the problem that you have, what you're getting the most out of as well. And also, if there's anything that comes up, the topics or questions that you want me able to cover in future episodes, please reach out, hit me up, send me a DM, comment below, leave your review, do all of that good stuff. But obviously as well, if you haven't subscribed to the show, I highly recommend in whatever platform that you're joining me on right now, you hit subscribe, you hit follow, and ensure that you don't miss out on all the good stuff to come, because that would be a huge bummer as well. So thank you for your time and attention in joining me in this episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.